Good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening, dear experts. We are coming to our last pure training day, day number 5. So as usual, I see in the 2 p.m. sharp, we have about 10 participants, but within some minutes, the amount will really increase. So that's why I really want to give to people who are right now joining some minutes. And before we will join, I would again remind you about our join rules. So initially, please, when I was speaking, please mute your microphone. Uh, any question, even right now, you can put into chat session. Question, suggestion, something you need to discuss to clarify, feel free to use the chat. And again, please make sure you use, during our call, you use chat for Zoom, not the chat in Telegram. I have the Telegram chat also in front of me, but many others could miss your question or your suggestion. So please use that the Zoom chat. It will be great if you will have video on. Again, it depends from your environment, from your internet speed. And I see right now we have everyone according to our naming convention. So put your name and country, what we can recognize who you are and which country are you from. But I guess right now during quiz days, everyone, every expert is used to use that rules, and I see no problem. And I guess if I correctly remind, we will know Chinese symbol during the last call, so it's been we can from our side really understand who you are and which country are you from. So right now I think I would really suggest you see the number is growing as I really expected. So I would propose to give another 1 minute and we will really start our session for today. Just maybe 1 minute or even 30 seconds. Okay, dear experts, let's continue our work. And I guess that 1 minute was really worth because right now I see, I guess, every active expert who was shared, who involved during quiz days. So that's why I'm sure what we will really have we will get a real feedback from you. Okay, today's session we will host three of us. It's me, Anna, and Albert, or his name usually it's Alec in our Zoom chat, but it's three of us. And today is our last day. And what we thought for today, it's some kind, let's say, summary day of our work as an expert during this full week. And we would like really touch the point is there still missing question for assessment, because as I understood, some of you are still assessing, still not finished, because I checked the market form in this folder which I shared with you, and I saw not so many as I expected. Please be sure what you really needed. The main part is reflection of a SkillCamp. I shared with you a very detailed questionnaire, but I would really would like to get some feedback from you. And as I remember, we have, let's say, Ricardo from Brazil wanted to share something which they in Brazil working on, and I guess that will be very useful to us. The third point which I point is roadmap to Shanghai, and I meant under that the following. We we started to organize the skill camp, having in mind the opportunity to share our BIM skills with as many countries as possible. What you will learn, what does it mean to be expert? You will learn what does it mean world skills rules, competition, etc. And we spent some times on that when we went through the test project. You will practice or still practicing in assessing. So I mean, from my mind, from my point of view, you will be ready to go there. Your student had a chance to practice. So I mean, again, it's not a usual offline competition, but it is a very good emulation. And I heard from your feedback, which you shared directly with me, what it was, let's say, very interesting exercise for your students, and even for you, if you how you could assess your students. So I mean, that is very good learning point for each of us. And we will touch some topics about tomorrow's session Q&A. So that is about for today. So our first topic is about the assignment for the module from 3 to 5. So I mean, for last day. I would ask the expert who already finished the assessment, so really finish and did the assessment from module for last day, please put plus sign into our chat. So everyone who already finished, please do it. Okay, yeah, see, okay, at least five expert already finished. So it okay, 6. So I mean, it's great. I really would encourage you to upload your all these assessment forms for all 3 days. So really assessment forms to the folder, and to upload your final day. For our expert who did not put the plus into the chat, it's right now your chance. If you right now started, and if you thinking there are some question, please unmute your microphone. You could ask your question, or you can write your question into the chat. So the best way will be if you really will be ready to unmute and even show the difficulty aspect, difficulty point, maybe difficulty project which you really stuck in right now, and we could help you. So please, I give several seconds or not more than minutes what you would really, if you will not enter into our conversation, what you will write it, but it's really free for you to ask your question. Please do it now if you have it. Um, I don't see any. Okay, what's nobody's unmute. Maybe one question which correlates with our next topic, because the next topic is really just about your readiness to finish the assessment and upload your project. Can you, if you didn't finish so far, so I mean, can you make a plus in our chat if you will finish, so I mean, before the next week? So what I will really know how many countries, how many experts will finish that process. So I just, okay, Bruno, great, yeah. How, thank you, yeah. So because you see, I count 9 experts finish right now. Right now, 4 experts are ready to finish, but altogether it's just a half of our experts. Okay, Chris is also here, but it's about a half of our experts who joined. So I mean, what could be the case if you join as an observer? What really you don't need to do it, you could practice in your own. So I mean, you could just take the same task, have take the same, let's say, time limits, and try to do it, and after assess yourself. So if you really have no students, but if you have a students, I really ask everyone to finish that exercise before the beginning of the next week, because WorldSkills Russia, I mentioned, I discussed then the opportunity to extend our access to the system. So it's called CIS, Competition Information System. What we will enter marks from your students into a system, and they will get the skill pass. Sorry. So if we will not receive your assessment mark with your assessment scheme, sorry, with your marks before the close of the system, your students will not be able to get the skill pass. So it's really important what you will finish the task of your students. So I mean, if you're a little bit behind, for example, today we will finish, it's okay. But I mean, again, for you, it will be a little bit more work over weekend to assess that and upload all free. We have free competition days. We don't have, we don't need to upload to us your Wednesday assessment. So I mean, that's what your students had a self-training day. When they improve the models, that day will not be count. So that's why even we really count into rarely assessment days. We need to get 3 of them. And the final project, please do it over weekend. In that case, we will really, your students will be okay. They will get the skill pass. It's no problem. They will get next week over all in 1 week. But if they will not get all WorldSkills, Russia will not be able to award them with that. If you have any questions so far, please write your question into the chat. I know yesterday we had a discussion with one expert from China who didn't got the link to Google Drive. So I sent to him the direct link to this folder for China. If you have again some question, I don't know, maybe spam filter or whatever, did not deliver, did not let you in, please reach me directly. You have in Telegram, each of you have is in Telegram channel. You see me, you can write direct message to me. I will really help you. So my really main right now goal was you will do all what's necessary from your side without any problem, and your students, each of them who participated and whom you assess, will get a very good feedback from this skill camp. And I guess it's some kind of motivation to them to go ahead. So I don't see any questions concerning this upload. So please, if you still have a question, if you still have some issues, reach me through Telegram, but it will be after our call. Right now, we use the chat in the Zoom. Okay, so right now we are coming to some kind of reflection of a skill camp. So I sent to you this really very detailed questionnaire, and that is for making to assess our job, how we prepared, how we run our skill camp, how you assess our task, or etc. So that is really clear, very let's say more or less formal form of feedback. I know what we have yesterday got a proposal from Brazil. What we will get some kind of from Ricardo, what he will share with us his, let's say, reflection or recommendation. So I also encourage any of you, after Ricardo will share to us exactly the same. If you have something to share, please step in and share your thought, your idea. Ricardo, I see you're here. Are you ready to share with us?
Yeah, yes, I can do that now.
Oh, okay, so in that case, I will, it's your turn. I will stop sharing and you please go, and floor belongs to you.
Okay. Well, we did some reflections overall after the process, and we have some suggestions to do about the process and the assessment. Uh, and I would like to share this with you right now. I'll read something, and but then I'll ask to Alexei to share the document to all the participants if possible. Uh, well, we did a document here, and after all this 9 days working hard with you, sharing experience, uh, we have some points to take to you. I would like to point the strongest things we saw at these days, highlight some points from the process. The cordial help and promptness to meet the most diverse requests from the organizers. The easy way to run the test project. We use standard softwares, uh, basic templates, and Autodesk sample files as example. Few files used to do the process. No? Uh, And I would like to talk about the assessment criteria at the last day, uh, uh, which contemplate the changes made for the model that, in my opinion, it was very, very right. Well, let's talk about the documents provided for the model. Uh, we think that the modeling documents submitted to the competitors must contain, in general, as much information as possible, such as additional descriptions and design detail in an increased scale. I took some examples from the test project, so I can try to explain what we are trying to mean. So at the day two assessment spreadsheet received, walls. Insulated layers protect the walls load-bearing parts from all sides, except for places where load-bearing wall is next to heated rooms. The parapet requires special attention. And at the same day, along the perimeter of the building above the window, a cast-in-place reinforcing belt is modeled or separate lintels. And in the next line, lintels are designed above door openings. I ask you, what should be done by the competitor at the second case? A belt or separate lintels at the same space? About the first, the walls, the insulated layers in the wall. Understand certain types of information is very complicated and requires enormous additional effort, especially when working time is short. We must remember that the criterion modeling represents almost 50% of the total points of the assessment. This kind of documents or information would be very helpful to competitors. Don't have to make efforts to understand this and do not take the time to make the model. Another example is if the objective is competitors to make their own decisions. I think transversal information about the task decision parameters, for example, must be provided. Another, try to illustrate the situation. If the stars modeling check was the objective, an empty space could be represented on the floor plan. Instead of showing the number of steps in designs, minimum and maximum values for the height and length of the steps and the respective proportion between these elements should be provided as a test in the text project description. These are some examples that illustrate the fact that provision of complementary information reduces the possibility of personal interpretations, which in turn can become subjective assessment. However, information provided must be accurate. So this is the first point that we think that additional information should be helpful to the tasks for competitors. When we talk about the assessment criteria, we have some suggestions to do and some examples to illustrate that. Another key point to considerably reduce dots lies in the assessment criteria. some questions after all these 9 days should be asked. Uh, what if the criterion is partially applied? What if the materials were partially applied? What if only part of the object was modeled? Uh, it should be noted that trying to better understand these answers to these questions does not mean underestimating the excellent work done by the organizers. The first point is assessment criterion must be clear. And we have some another examples to show you. In the day one assessment spreadsheet, the aspect description types. Well, types have been prepared, at least 5, for future use in project. And in the next line, types. Intermediate floor size and floor covers types have been prepared, at least 3, for further use in project. We suggest a graded assessment for this kind of information, pointing the elements created when they are compared to the total quantity defined for modeling, whenever it's possible. So, if we have a competitor that, for example, the test project has 10 walls to be made. If we have a competitor that made 5 and another competitor that made 7, both of them did not complete the task. But in my way of thinking, one was better than the other. So the only give the points or not give the points does not show exactly that one model make the model better than the other. So we suggest a grade assessment pointing to that element whenever is possible. Another example, in the day 2 assessment spreadsheet. Underground floor, outer walls, partitions and stairs are modeled. Rooms and doors are added according to the task. Well, we suggest only one of these aspects should be evaluated at a time, whenever it's possible. At the day 3 assessment spreadsheet, the aspect description says, a sheet with sections has been created. Sections contain dimensions and elevations. And the next line, a sheet with facades has been created. Facades contain dimensions and elevations. Facades are drawn in color. We suggest a minimum number of elements to be described to validate the aspect. What I mean, if the competitor puts only one dimension or puts 5 dimensions at the model, we should validate it and they have the same point. I think it should have a minimum quantity of these elements described to complete the task. And another assessment procedure suggestion. To evaluate a value from an object property parameter, material, for example, all the same instance existing in the model must be selected whenever it's possible. So if you are trying to check the material applied in a door, we should select all the doors, the same doors existing in the project to check these materials using the selection all tools. Maximum score for each aspect shall be displayed into the spreadsheet. It's another suggestion. Well, and the final suggestion, we understand the process simplification to equalize conditions for all participants in this journey. We are also aware that skill is still being developed and there is much to be done. However, as everyone knows, we should note that BIM extends far beyond geometry modeling. So we have to do as soon as possible incorporate tasks that will help us to understand and improve the challenges related to interoperability and collaborative work. I see that we try to do this uh, at this event, but it was not possible. Furthermore, the challenges must still consider tasks related to cost estimation, budget analysis, scheduling, and more extensively, sustainability analytics and facility management, among others endless possibilities. And obviously, the model characteristics must meet the purpose for which is intended. Well, so that's our suggestions about the process. And uh, would like to put this to be discussed or reflected by the participants. And as I said, uh, I will ask Alexei to share this document to the other participants if it's possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you very much for your feedback. So, I mean, you really did a great job. So, I mean, really, to us, it's important. And I really designed yesterday this questionnaire. It has more or less the same question to expert. What others can also share their thoughts. I also think what you mentioned was the overall, it was very good task, and I see what Alec really made a lot of marks for designing a new task. From my side, I could really mention so what some of your recommendations is really a backside of our online mode. So I mean, so that's why we were not on okay in offline uh, in offline environment that all experts really discuss all the market form before, and also you mentioned about the uh, not equally distribution of assessment, because we did not pick each models from the big the technical description. It was done consciously just because we somehow should put all that, let's say, main models into our online form or distributed form. So that's why I guess from my side, you really provide very valid, valuable feedback, and uh, we will be really happy to receive it. So Ricardo, thank you very much, because I guess to us it's very important to have to get this feedback. And you correctly, we also have interestingly enough, in Kazan, we provided to our competitor too much information, and we were a little bit exceeded. So maybe this time we provide a little bit less information that they were lacking. So I mean, it's to us, it's again a very good learning point to find the right level of information about the assessment market scheme. It's again we put, as if you mentioned, if you look at the quantity, it was really minimum possible quantity of equation, just because again to distribute format we don't have so many models. So that's why this modeling, which you usually contains of two sub models, we combine into one, and it's become so heavy, so wealthy. Okay, what happens? And I think good what you also mentioned that and provided feedback to us. So I don't think Alec, if you want to say something right now, it's okay, or uh, we can, otherwise we can go forward.
I suppose we explore this document, and of course, take some things from it to our next task. It's thank you, Ricardo. It's a very good help for us. Now that's all. Next, I simply research this document again and try to do something new.
Okay, thank you, Alec. Is anybody from our expert wants to step in and share he or her thoughts about that, about our really this week of working? Yeah, Bruno, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good morning, afternoon, or evening for everyone. I just like to say that this week was very interesting, you know, uh, trying to develop this model with my students and coordinating their work and accessing them was very, very, very interesting. And this experience uh, raised some questions that Ricardo brought to us right now. But there is one point that I would like to reinforce the idea that is the objective of the BIM model. Why we are modeling? If we establish this in the beginning of the exercise, that would help our students to plan the modeling better. An example, if the BIM model is a model of to do the budget of a construction or to the simulation of the construction, the criteria to develop the model changes a little bit, even that it just a little bit from one use to another use, and this might help the development. Because one thing, it's very common here in Brazil, and my students usually to do the modeling like this is to what we call here the onion wall. We do for each layer of the wall, we do a separate wall because it makes easier to raise the quantities. So I saw during the exercise that everyone was doing only one wall with all the layers in one wall. Here we did separately, so it changes the number of the items in the department. That was one of the evaluation questions in the marking scheme, and so on. It would be interesting if just in the beginning we establish this model will be for representation. This model will be for sustainability assessment or simulation. That Ricardo brother. That was the main point that I thought that we should have mentioned, that can be thought for the next seasons of the of the bricks or future skills or work skills. But for in all the aspects, I thought was really great to make part of this event, and I really learned a lot. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you very much. Okay, dear expert, you are also free to enter, so please go ahead. Yeah, Safwan, I saw you really unmute, so if you want to share, please go ahead.
Right. First and foremost, I would like to thanks to the organizer for organize such an event, and we have learned a lot. And for me, I already gone through with the point given by Bruno and also by Ricardo. And for your information, Bruno, in Malaysia, basically we are developing the wall with different wall, not just one wall, but some of the requirement they are developing a wall with different properties of layers. But in Malaysia, some of the requirement let's say we just developing one wall, and we also have several wall that indicate this is for the plastering and this is for the wall tile. Because as we know that, let's say in the building we have a ceiling, and definitely for the brick wall from the finished floor we will up until the upper floor. But if we talk regarding the finishing, it just definitely until the level of the ceilings. So another point that I would like to highlight is the marking scheme. Maybe I could share something from the Malaysia. We also organize some of the competition, and there are some of marking scheme. Maybe I could share it. So, okay, this is one of the marking scheme that we are developing in the Malaysia. We also organize some competition, but this competition is just within the Malaysia participant. And basically, I already gone through all the assessment marking scheme. And the first day, let's say,
I cannot see your screen. Everybody can see the screen?
No, it started.
Oh,
It has been started, but nothing appeared yet.
Yeah, it hasn't started here yet.
Safan, so maybe like Bruno suggested, maybe we can really after have some kind of sharing of the materials. Oh yeah, right now it's here. Yeah.
all right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So, for instance, in the first day, we are assessing the library for the student. And for instance, we are assessing their library for the window, let's say. And the criteria that we are assessing in the window is the first one, the window must be in parametrics. The second one, it should have a reveal arrangement. And the third one is the naming must follow back all the specification. But during the first day, let's say if the student already creating one complete of library, but they just not comply just one item only. Let's say they are already creating a reveal, they are already creating some of naming convention and so forth and so on. But the problem is the student forgot to assign the material for the library. But we just consider them and we just put the mark 0 for them. For me, that is not very inconvenient for them. So in Malaysia, this is one of the marking scheme that we are developing. Let's say for the library as specification, the total mark, let's say for instance is 16 point, and we are considering the naming, the properties for the each item. They say if the student just not comply the properties only, but they are already comply with the naming, so we will giving them 2 marks, not we consider 0 mark for them. So this is the example of marking scheme that we are developing for the competition in our country. So basically, for me, it's such a great opportunity and such a great experience for us for being invited by WorldSkill Russia to join this program. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Safan, and it's great what you already started with world skills. BIM skill in Malaysia and your level, and I think I will talk about it further. But it's great what you are doing, and I would suggest that maybe we could have a follow-up, not in terms of our SkillCamp, but after a joint session with you where you really shows your task, because that is really
All right,
important
thank you.
to us to understand how each country is doing. Okay, thank you very much. If
All right,
I'm
all
right,
right, thank you. All
okay,
right, welcome.
okay. If I right, Jacek, you was also unmuted, yeah, right?
Well, I was, but Safwan was the
Yeah.
first. So,
Okay.
hello, everybody. I just put the question or some suggestions, and I'm not ready with, sort of structured conclusions, and I think I'll do it for my country leader. I mean, this foundation that supports the world skills, and Mrs. Laskowska. But it's first of all, I really wanted to thank you all of you for the effort, for the time you took, and the initiative, because it was really a good preparation for the World Skills Shanghai and the way of at least current thinking of how to do the competition. I'm not sure one of the scale you put, I put probably for the level of BIM competencies tested, I put something like 5, not 10, because I think that we are lacking many BIM competencies that are really a true challenge. I put in the question, in my opinion, I work also as a consultant to some projects in Poland. And for instance, there was a road with some bridges and, you know, engineering infrastructure. And a company that does it is an international company, part of an international company based in Poland. And they say, okay, we can do the bridge model in BIM, we can do the road model, but not together. So coordination, you know, working together, sharing information, to broad the seeing this silo of the branches or disciplines towards the BIM environment. This is the challenge here, and I think we should think of the competition that really tests it. Some examples. We could put even in this such pretty simple project shared coordinates, and assume that these lintels or these structural components, we could require that it's another model, put some sort of georeference, I mean a real terrain, Kazan, Moscow, Warsaw, whatever, and say people, okay, this is your terrain, this is your parcel, this is your survey point. Okay, coordinate it everything so the models are put together, and when we link models, when we share information, that it's, you know, no problems. So this is some thought I put in this questionnaire. Also, we really tested in this skill camp rather drafters competences than modelers or designers. So I believe it's very difficult to score the creative, you know, modeling thing, because we be the judges, and we really some sort of subject, you know, not objective thing, but our, you know, opinions. But there is a commission, there are some judges on the competition, I mean, and they could share some sort of thoughts and work out the scoring. Because what I mean here, it's much more demanding to develop a model. I put an example in the questionnaire, for instance, of a small town library that it's acceptable low energy, and it keeps the budget within the limits. So it's the way of task that designers, that our students, when they go to the market, this is what they face. Not to repeat somebody's work, okay? It's, of course, for assistants, modelers, okay, these drafters, this is the skills that are really important, just to model the library objects, just to develop some BIM models according to the plans or whatever. And it's I'm aware that it's plenty of you know, projects. It's done with 2D on the design stage, and then the construction company, for their own benefits, they remodel it to 3D, and then they start the coordination, collision detection, so on. They clear the model, and then they start to construct it, and they ahead of budget, ahead of schedules, and get, you know, a competitive advantage on the market. And this is really what happens. So it's sort of the task we tested here, okay? So if these students work in a construction company, then it would be the case that they took the 2D documentation from the architect or structural engineer, but the company that work in the traditional CAD format, okay? And then they rise the model into the 3D or 4D or 5D, and then do the rest of the work. So it's important, I mean, but we could add, I think, some sort of challenges that are more creative. So goal-oriented, so make something that fulfills some requirements and not follow exactly what you see on the drawings, okay? Of course, as a mix, as part of, I mean, we could allow to the students in the future projects to give them a general concept of the building as Alec prepared, but without furniture, without materials, and say, okay, play with this, check the parameters, check the energy efficiency, do the solar study, look for the energy gain or, you know, requirement. So this is something that I think will be more challenging and more, of course, more for our teams. It's not for a lone BIM thing that we tested here. And this task was for something we call one-man orchestra. So a structural engineer, architect, drafter, so on. And also what I'm thinking, I didn't put to the questionnaire, but I think I will develop some sort of document because I'm supposed to do for the foundation that is on the country level in charge of world skills in Poland. And I'm obliged to do some, perhaps I'll do it in English and also share with you. It's that we could really very easily explore the concept of LODs. So we call the standard like British or American, probably BIM forum is the most known in the all over the world. So we may say, okay, do not look at the drawings, but model the walls according to the LOD 300 or 350. And then the student will go to the table and will check, okay, is he ready to be on the BIM market as a professional? Because on the BIM market, when you go get this EIR, okay, so the client says, okay, give it to me modeled in LOD as 300 or 400 or 350 or whatever, okay? And this is the way we could also check the competencies of the participants, and also, I mean, somehow enforce true BIM awareness, through BIM competencies and professional skills they should present during the BIM, true BIM competition. So perhaps these loose thoughts for the time being. Once more, I really do appreciate your work and thanks all of you, Alexei, Albert or Alec, whatever we should call you, and Anna, of course, and you did a great work with your students to show us and teach us. Well, perhaps one more comment, because I don't work on the architecture department. And for instance, when I consider my students to go there, I will really have to look for a student with really architecture as a second profile of the study, because it would be, as I see right now, that it's something that would be really required to, you know, to know these building codes and so on, because structural engineers or our BIM program students are really not trained in, you know, with the Revit as a tool to the great extent. We rather teach processes, communication, interoperability. So for instance, shared coordinates is one of the first tasks I add to the basic Revit curriculum, because it's something that I treat as a starting point for the teaching BIM. And all these tools for communications, BCF or whatever, even DWF, the design review, which for some reason it's not now on market, and so many companies do the professional work without this great tool for CAD and BIM processes. So this is something I treat very important as a very important feature of BIM profile and BIM skills developed during the university years, just to foster on the market the best practices of digital construction. Yeah, because at the end it's the data we would like to have and process, not the, you know, fancy models and renderings, because it's all, of course, for promotional materials and marketing purposes, it's perfect. For the process, it's the data that counts. And this is something that we should also somehow include in the world skills competition. Thanks.
Thank you, Jacek. So, I mean, I really like your approach. And honestly speaking, to every one of our calls, so then, if you saw this picture, if you remember picture from a week ago, I mentioned what in Russia we have a little bit different approach. We have really team competition where one is represent architectural, where our is structural engineer. So, and we really have to do together. They have much more freedom in designing. So, I mean, it's so that's more or less reflects what you are talking. So, unfortunately, when we really have to unify and WorldSkills International step in, there was some, let's say, limitation each way. Really, in what, let's say, a year ago, we set a very strict restriction what it should be really very much focused only on one role, which could be used for on the vocational level and higher education. So that's why if you mention about drafter or BIM modeler, that's more or less really exactly what's happened. So I mean that was requirements, and one person, it was again requirements from WorldSkills International to reduce a cost. So I mean a WorldSkill, if your country you will go to the Shanghai, each participants cost certain amount of money to participate. So I mean, if and reducing the number of, let's say, counting down from the team competition to individual competition, it's really reduced cost so much and provide opportunities for smaller countries to participate. So honestly speaking, what you know the background, but in WorldSkills there is very good mechanism inherited. So I mean, if expert community will decide what the competition should change the shape, the expert community is able to change it. So I mean, there is a special procedure when all experts are sitting together and reevaluate and improve the skill description. So that's why even right now, I'm not sure that will be the same technical description, which is right now, which is used right now
Alexei, some problem with probably network
Ireland.
connection.
Okay, it's okay now?
Yeah, you are frozen for a couple of seconds, so we didn't hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I hope, okay, so I mean, if we are reflecting back, so I mean, that what we as an expert community who will come to Shanghai have the power to improve or really redo, redesign the skill description. So I mean, I don't know, will it be possible to do before the competition, because usually it happens at the last day of the competition, when all experts are coming together and really looking through what should be improved, etc. But at least for, let's say, for the next competition after Shanghai, that for sure everyone who will come there will be able to participate, will be able to share their thoughts, and really we could do the technical description better. So I mean, so that's why, Jacek, if you would like to test your students in team competition, welcome to Russian competition, because and it's not only for you. It's I think it's for everyone with invitation. I don't know how WorldSkills Russia will figure out right now during this COVID time. But even before, for example, Polish team went to Russian national final last year, and from Singapore, by the way, from Greece. It was not from your university; it was from Temasek Polytechnic. But still, WorldSkills Russia is really open. So that's why, if you really want to test it, there is one maybe constraint. I will tell you honestly right now, just because if we do it in Russia, we use the Russian standards, but we reverse the standards in the description, and this will be translated. So you will get it in advance, and you'll be able to check, for example, what does it mean the the rules number 97. And I see Alec is smiling just because its rules defines the common data environment structure for in Russia. But for example, but it's only what I see. I think that we, for example, if this, for example, for rules for the this national championship, it will be happens end of August. It's already on website. You can free to download. You can use really just for very speed for the Google Translate to really understand what it will be about. It's really 2-team competitions. So I mean, I think anyway you can reach WorldSkills Russia from your technical delegates. It's no problem, because if we will see there is a interest, we will facilitate with a proper translation to English. So that's why how it will work. Okay, thank you, Jacek. Is anybody else would step in and share your thoughts? Please go ahead. Yeah, Bruno, again, no problem.
Yeah, sorry, just one more time. One thing that I just remember about the technique constructions. See, here in Brazil, we don't, at least in the region where I live, we don't have insulation layers in walls and walls so thick. And this, this kind made it a problem to understand the project and how we would model what we don't know exactly how to construct. And this was challenge, made us research more about this. It was really great, actually, but it was one point that it made us work not more, but delayed our development of the models, because first we had to understand how to construct to know how to model, and then this kind of reveals. It's another example that I just understand yesterday. So we don't have it here. But it was very nice to challenge this new kind of project design.
Alexei, is it thinkable that WorldSkills would publish a technical guidance? What kind of competencies or tools or objects will be probably to be modeled? So, for instance, Bruno could prepare his team with installation layers, taking advantage of so many online videos, whatever. It's not it's nothing complex. Also, these reveals, whatever kind of stuff. It's some, I know you test the real deep knowledge about the tool, the Revit. Of course, it's not possible to ArchiCAD or any other system, so it's really Autodesk competence. But it's okay. We know it, that it's based on Revit, and we accept this. But could be really helpful, especially that the codes all around the world are different, the practices are different, and the approaches are different. So it could be really, more even chances for all the participants to be prepared. And it should be only a guidance. So no tasks, no, examples, but a guidance. What kind of particular topics or things should we have before the WorldSkill to prepare our students? Because it could be really as the second person, Bruno is the second person, and someone was the first who said, okay, I don't know what's insulation. We don't use it. Okay, in Malaysia, it's a hot country. Brazil, I believe, equator makes it really hot. So in Poland, in Russia, we become countries that will also, we do not need the insulation because it's, the heat in the summertime and warm winters are, something new to our geographic location. But anyway, this is such a guidance. Is it possible to have just to sum up my thought?
So I mean, I think from very several answers. So I mean, right now, what we saw WorldSkills International appointed with Malachi Matthew, who is a skill competition manager. So he right now his task is really prepare the competition. So that's why I would really share especially that our today call with him, because it reflects much about really the broad community of experts who is preparing or want to go to Shanghai, about his feedback. So I mean, I guess that will be again outsourced, and so I think it's good that we have Alec on our call, because for Kazan, his company was appointed to create the test project. So I mean, and the more he and his company participated in our, let's say, SkillCamp competition, etc., the better he could create the task. In Kazan, what we did by the way the same approach like you mentioned. So I mean, Albert, we together prepared some kind of description. We discussed it with all experts what they know what to expect. So nobody saw the real task, but we exactly like you suggested. Sorry, uh, uh, we develop a document which really describe what to expect. So that's why each one who came to the Kazan was on the same, let's say, level of understanding, a level of expectations. So it's exactly works like this way. So I mean, so that's why I will share especially that recording with Malachi Matthews, what he will listen to us. I expect to get this document from Ricardo, also to share with him, because what is really important, what's ready to have such approach. And if, for example, BIM Academy will be appointed to do this task for Shanghai, it will be again very good. What Alec is here, he really hear you, and he, I guess, it's makes a lot of notes how to design the better task for the next time. Okay, fantastic. So, is any from expert again would like to step in and to share his or her thoughts? Please go ahead. Okay, honestly speaking, Asmi, I thought you was also active, so go ahead.
This is the first time who I speak with you, though.
But you also commented much, so what's I count you as an active expert.
First, I want to say thank you for Alexei, Anna, Alec for any information and instruction in this competition, and I will thanks always Jacek, Safwan, Leon, Bruno, everyone for our informative intervention in this 9 day of competition. My students are very happy with this experience, and I think for me the goal of this competition, or the goal, it was to see how the student is able to read document and analyze data, manage time, and how the modeling and to do a smart modeling, to do these 4 buildings in 3 hour or 7 hour. It would be a very good exercise for him. Certainly the construction methods are not the same from our country to another. In Tunisia, we don't use insulation in the exterior face of the wall. In Taiwan and Brazil, we don't use that, but I think for anyone who do modeling in BIM, the type of construction is not a constraint to do that, but maybe we need just some more information for all elements in this task. It's just that. But I want to thank you another time, and I think this is the first competition. I think it was is it not the last one. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Asmi, thank you very much. Okay. From, let's say, from as I pointed group of active expert, I guess Leon was also very much involved. So if you can step in and share with us, it will be great.
Sure, no problem. As far as most of the experts say a lot of things, one thing I was wondering to share with all experts about my country's situation. Right now in Taiwan, most of the architect firms, they still use CAD system. They, they, they have a lot of difficulty to develop BIM skills in architect firms. And the reason is because uh, they think BIM or Revit software cannot produce a good communication drawing. Like this time, we have some aspect to assessment students drawing, but uh, the sample we are offering to students, the drawing quality is not as we have to have in architect firms. If you guys have the screen, I want to show some of my students their drawing types. Let me show my screen. Can everybody see this screen? Yeah. Like my students, they always, if you have to draw the sharp drawings, they never use they have to have good displays about the line weights and the information you have to have to the construction site. And also here there is another one. This is a first floor plan. That is, and there are a lot of dimension systems in here, and also most of our country we use the concrete system. We don't have a lot of different types of walls here, and also in sections. Those drawings are from my college students. They have to draw this kind of standards drawings in order to pass one course. So I mean, when my students try to join these BIM competitions, they are a little bit confused that what kind of the quality of the drawings they have to have in during this camp. But I can tell that the most important things in our camp is that students have the ability to develop their BIM skills from from offering information. So as I would suggest, maybe we can provide some kind of drawing standard and add some grades to the drawings to the drawing side. Maybe it will combine the practical side more better with the education. That's my thought. But thank you, Alexi and Anna and Alex, to have this such good camp for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Leon. So I mean, what I guess your proposal is really it's really a little bit extend the Jacek proposal. So I mean, that is very good. What's we coming right now to, let's say, some kind of recommendation. So I mean, so far, if I reflect back to Kazan, the countries was Russia, Ireland, Belarus, Poland. So I mean, for European country who has more or less the similar, let's say, designing approach and the climate So that's why it was not so much different. One remaining was Singapore team. They came for training for national final, so at least they had a chance to see our usual, let's say, practice. So that's why I guess that was the reason why they did not ask the same question like you, a proposal, just because they looked how we work and came back and prepared to a competition. So that's why, yeah, how it works. So thank you. Is
Thank
anybody
you.
else would like to share his or her thoughts? Maybe Alec or Anna would like to step in and share
Excuse
your
me.
thoughts.
Sorry, I forgot one
Yeah,
thing.
Len, yeah,
Can I
yeah,
have more time?
yeah.
Yeah. And another thing is about our assessment. Maybe I already write for the feedbacks, and some of the our assessment description, there are some penalty grades of the in description. But I think it's maybe if it's possible, we can add everything, like if we have one thing in total, like a total grades in some aspect, that Ricardo just said. And also, if we I don't think it's good idea to add a penalty to the description. Maybe we can use all of the system in class system. Yeah, that's one thing I missed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So expert, maybe Anna and Alec would also can share your thoughts if you want.
Okay, maybe I say some things. It's only 1 minute. It's for today. I create many notes. It's if you see, it's my sorry.
No,
it's problem with Zoom
yeah.
phone. Yeah. But I have really many notes for today, and not only for today, because I have a big Google Doc for next task, and this is a really good approach to create better task for next time, and I suppose step by step we create good competition in this autumn. And thank you for everyone for your feedback. It's very good for us, and that's all.
Thank you, Alec. Anna, will you say something to us?
Of course. I only want to say that I'm thanks for all of us, for Jacek, for Alexei, for Alec, for Ricardo, for Leon, Bruna. It was a very good experience for me. So thank you for good work, for interesting days, for your opinion, and for our discussion. That's all.
Thank you, Anna. I would really thank my team, just because you see, even yesterday I shared a post on Facebook and talking what's our team work 24 hours during 9 days. So that's really more or less true. And yeah, Albert was responsible for task and for assessment, and Anna was responsible for really the test project proofing. So she did with her students, and after, during our, let's say, training days, she also ran parallel competition for her students for someone who did not participated in this evaluation process, and additionally was involved in the assessing process. So I mean, she had a very huge workload. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Alec. A really great team. Yeah, right. Yeah, so let's go forward. So I mean, I will again share my screen. Just a second. Okay. So what we will have next about, I would really talk about roadmap Shanghai. So what's I thought under that? So I mean, we right now have, let's say, current position. It's here. It's, let's say, right now we doing SkillCamp reflection, and I guess many of us have in mind our joint meeting already on the competition place in next year. So what is the way from today to really to our next meeting in Shanghai? So again, I just really put my thoughts about these possible steps. So first of all, that's the next step will be to apply for the BIM skill in Shanghai. Why I put it on the second place? Just because in October, all skills will have a general assembly, and they will assess which skill to provide a status as an official skills. So right now our BIM skills is still has as a it has a P in identification. So I mean it's some kind of presenter skill which could be official. The decision will be done on based of how many countries will apply for the skill. So what is important? What your technical, your official delegate will apply from your country for BIM skill. So that's why I will repeat that slide tomorrow, because I expect some of your country delegates or some of your country technical delegates will join us tomorrow as well. So that's why I will again show that to them. But if you could really inform them what they should really apply, well, that will be great. The next is what I think, even right now, what I heard from your feedback, you learn a lot, you something understand what could be improved in your learning process. I had that conversation with Anna, by the way, and she also feedback into me what some of the models her students was not very strong. So that was really some kind of lack, okay, some gaps, let's say, in the education process. Please incorporate it into your curriculum. And I think to Russia, that is the way how we bring BIM to the education. So I mean, each country is different, but to me, that is the way how we introduce BIM to education, how we implement it, and that is very strong and efficient tool. So some of way to do is to launch a BIM skill in your country. So like Safwal told to us, the Malaysia has already launched it. So I mean that was really new to me, because I thought only 3 country has so far the BIM skill in their country. So I mean I knew about Ireland, I knew about UK, I knew about Russia. Right now, I will count 4 countries. Malaysia, in my counting, will belong to that countries. So you please launch it in your country. In some smaller country, it will be just really, it will be not some maybe big national championship, but you will get the official status. So I mean, very important to us to promote our skills to become to be official skill in our national skills level. So if I talking about Russia, we initially was also some kind not let's say official skills in WorldSkills Russia. We belongs to future skills, so some new skills which emerge, and only with this January we fulfill the criteria to be official. So before we had a lot of headache to organize, but right now we are official skills in Russia. So I mean, I don't know rules in your world skills, but at least even if you uh, could get that skills at your university, at your vocational schools, that will be maybe enough for that purposes. So very effective tool to prepare to Shanghai is participate in BIM training skill camp like we have right now, or championships. Again, as I mentioned to you, it is an opportunity to join at least Russian championship. If your country will do the championship and it will be it will be open championship, I guess it will be very useful if you can share that information, because so far in UK, I guess it was not open championship. I guess it was planned to have open championship in Ireland, but due to COVID, it's really unclear in UK the situation. In Russia, it will be online in September, but I don't know. So okay, I don't know is it open or not. I guess just to you could really ask through the your wall skills. I can try to clear before tomorrow call about situation in Russia. I am not sure, honestly speaking, if it right now open or not. But I think that is really very effective tool to prepare your team to Shanghai to participate in championship. So I mean that is really, I would really suggest to any countries. And when you really understood the locking point, so the last yeah is to prepare your team. I mean your students who will come to Shanghai to really with after the championship or training camps, we will know the lacking area, we know the strength, use that time to really improve them in any area. As we discussed today, uh, or not today, but even last Saturday, if it will be uncirculated or secret task, no one will know about the content. So we discussed today the suggestion. I think Jacek and Leon did it very well. How we can really be, let's say, ready for any uncirculated task. But as WorldSkills International really see is as a really as a focus to do such type of test project. I think we will have in Shanghai also a circulated test project, and our teams, our students has to be ready to any, let's say, any possible variant. So in that case, they should really have more or less equal skills, equal knowledge in any BIM area which could appear. So I already got several direct question to me about which type of support we could provide. And WorldSkills Russia, my initial questionnaire contains the same question, because WorldSkills Russia will exactly work uh, with your WorldSkills communities. And I just put here some ideas, so which came in my mind, how we as a Russian skill team could help you. So first of all, if you really launch it the first time, is to be a main expert, chief expert, sorry, the official name is chief expert, not a main expert, at your championship. So I mean, because you probably remember, I show you on Saturday how many paperworks, rules, etc. exist. So sometimes it's really important to come and to lead that or take that part of a job on someone experienced shoulder. So we could do it. And for example, I did it in my own region. So I lived in small town between Moscow and St. Petersburg, and then they decided vocational schools, they have only one which can have the BIM skills. When they decided to start it, they come to me and ask if I could come there as a chief expert to help them launch it. So no problem. So how it works, it's really normal practice. Another possible options is really to have a dedicated training camp. So right now, where WorldSkills Russia organize it. So I mean, we as a skill team already talked to WorldSkills Russia even much before the COVID about the opportunities, and we really plan to have a offline 1.5 week training in Moscow. But it's changed. I think we still have opportunity to do a skill camp, and that even grew up was not only BIM skill has the skill camp, but I guess it's about 20 skills have parallel with skill camp. So I mean, that is great, but if you want to organize a skill camp, it's no problem. We can really do for your country, dedicated for your country. Okay, there is one additional options which come in my mind. It's learning. What I mean under that? So I mean both Anna and Alec represent some educational companies or institutions. So Anna represent Novosibirsk University for Architecture, Design and Art, and they have, for example, a very good graduates program where we also teach BIM. It's more really, it's more long term, but they are open to accept any students, even exchange one. So I mean, it's no problem if you could work with them. I don't know, Anna, if you could add something to that.
Of course, we will be glad to share our experience and to work with your students. In our university, we have all levels of education. We have special department for children from 6 years old, and also we have master's degrees and postgraduate degrees and so on. As a feature at our university, I think we have a design department where I'm working now. So we working with real projects. We make architectural projects for constructions, and our students are working with us also. So I think it's a very interesting experience, and we would like to share it to you. Also, we can do very good and interesting presentation with virtual reality. So it's one of our best things that we do.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Anna. And Albert, so I mean, you mentioned, I mentioned always what he's coming from BIM Academy. And okay, so it's really commercial company. So I mean, so that's why it's not educational institution, but we're very advanced in BIM training and BIM consultancy. So it's, on my mind, it's one of the best, or to me, it's really best company. I personally used online training from BIM Academy and even attended several offline courses by BIM Academy, and BIM Academy has very good online course. At least I specially assess different options in online in Russia, and to my mind, the BIM Academy's course provide the train most BIM skills. So I mean, it's not videos, it's really exercise. And as I know, BIM Academy is preparing right now English speaking course. So Albert, if you okay to maybe some words about that.
Yeah, thank you, Alexei. You tell about us maybe better than me. Could I share my screen? Can you stop here? I show 2 things maybe. Thank you. Do you see this?
Yes, it's now it's very
okay. For this task, I create a small model because we have only 3 hours per day. But in general, my company works with a very big object like this. It's highest skyscraper in Europe, and this is Lahta Center in St. Petersburg. It looks like this. It's a really big model. And with many parts, construction, architecture, and engineer MAP model, like this. It's many, many details. And in general, I'm working as a BIM manager on this project. This is scale of our work, maybe. So very big models like this. And next, of course, we create courses about BIM, and we have, for example, online course in Russia with 34,000 students. It's absolutely free online course, and now we create same on English language. And I suppose we started after New Year, and I hope you will add to this course because it will be interesting. And really we have many videos here, many tasks for students about for 2 months of working for each student on this course. It's about 40 hours of video. It's look like this. It's about Revit, and we have some videos here, some tasks, and this really interesting, I hope. And of course, it's not at all. We have many works with complex form, like Lafta Center or like other buildings. For example, we're working with Zaha Hadid projects and create algorithms for form finding for building. It's also a very interesting part of our work. And maybe I show small video about this. It's simple algorithms that we created for form finding for architects, and it's very interesting for us. This integration, Grasshopper and Revit, and Dynamo and Revit, it's for me, it's a better part of my work, for example. That's all for my presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Alec. I'm really glad what we work with you, so honestly speaking. So that's why we can really get the great input from really industry. We work with BIM Academy to get this access to real models. For example, that's what we had during the SkillCamp is a real model. What we have in Kazan is really real model. And so that's where the students can the best learn from. Okay, going forward, if we're really talking about learning options, and the next option is really develop a test project marking scheme. So what we today talk about a lot, and so that's why right now we touch okay, BIM Academy usually do it in Russia. As we have different shape. It's more really it's more freedom for design. We have different shape, but again, we design the task using best practice from industry. So we really try to understand what is going on and using that real requirements, using the real approach from industry, we designing the test project. I guess and any other option. So I mean, I right now put here 4, which came in my head, but it's not only 4 options possible. So to do it forward, to do it more efficient, please, you all have my my Telegram channel, Telegram name. You can really just write to me directly. Okay, so what we talk about roadmap to Shanghai and some words before we will finish about tomorrow's session. So tomorrow's session will be closing ceremony. I will, if your technical delegates, official delegates want to share, it's no problem. Please share the link. Link will be provided by WorldSkills Russia because it will be translation interpretation, into the Chinese. So that's why I will approach Anna Malinovskaya to send that link to all of us. I don't have it either, but it's free. And I would really, if you could invite your official delegates, technical delegates, it will be great. Because some of you mentioned what you are not empowered enough to launch the BIM skills in your country. Please use this opportunity to pay attention, because on last Friday, we did such open ceremony. It was first part was aimed to them, and you can just share these first hours which we had last Friday. Tomorrow it will be closing ceremony. It's again, I would, for example, share the same roadmap to Shanghai, what we will know, what we should do, and what we should hurry up with application to WorldSkills International. Okay. Oh, it's not a BIM scam. I think it was wrong. Oh, I guess I did not change the head of the slides, but if we really the head should be about tomorrow morning, but the content is about tomorrow morning. So I mean, whenever for our target audience for tomorrow will be our students. So right now we had a online skill camp. So I mean, they did not have the opportunity to come and talk to us, talk to each other on the competition venue, unfortunately. So that was, they really many of them work alone. So I would like really to, and many of them got difficulties as we discussed today. So I want them to motivate them, go ahead. So what they will continue doing BIM, will continue to participate in new BIM skills, and really they motivate them to go to Shanghai. So that is one of our goal. and I would really want to somehow what will help them both in despite all results they will have. The main idea was they learn something, they test themselves, and they could go forward. So that I already touched that point, so I will not disclose it further. So that's why I think the goal is try to inspire students, give a positive feedback to them. So I guess with this topic of reveals, with topic of isolations, the majority of our participants got very difficult situation. So I would really convert that into the positive side, and that, I guess, that will be really our joint goals. The next, what I would really how I want to do it, I want to provide some kind of a feeling of informality. So I already asked your students to share with me their photos, how they did or how they do, how we did our models. So, and they right now started to share. I would ask of you if you could share your photos. Really, I will do photos how I ask my relatives to do photos how right now sitting my uh, in my on my desk doing that presentation. So I mean, I would the same encourage to do you. It's not the necessary, but if you could do, it will be great. What we will see, we will all have in some funny situation organizing and leading that skill camp. So if you know your students well and you could recommend some of your students who will be able to provide a feedback, really positive feedback, thoughts and ideas, it will be great. So just reach me directly, tell who we are and talk to that students what they will be ready to jump in. So I mean that will really again provide some kind of interaction. We will not be able to talk to any too much to with many just to time constraint, but if you know some positive, some excited, some really person who could really uh, be really very useful to let in, please reach me and let me know. And yeah, that's what I already told. And if you self are ready to share in that context, what we really motivate them, we really provide them the idea about the bright future. It's really, again, please tell me in advance what I will put your name, and we'll do not forget to add you into our session. So that is honestly all from my side for today, and we will have a Q&A session. So I see there are some mentions to its Q&A session, but it's thanks from you and from Alec. I see, yeah, thank you also to you. Okay, from my side, if I could speak, it's really it is a great pleasure to work with you. I think with your feedback, what you really share, your thoughts, your ideas, your even claims. It's great. I'm very glad what we had during quiz week. Very good, let's say, atmosphere in working in our expert environment. So it was really respectful. It was really intelligent. It was really very good way communicate. And even if we fail somewhere, you told us it in very dedicated, delighted way. So thank you very much for your very good feedback to us. And as I mentioned, we doing the online skill camp the first time. We did not expect what we will have so many countries, what we will have so many experts, and what we will have more than 130 participants for BIM skill only in total. So that is really a huge number, which nobody of us or nobody from WorldSkills were expected. But it's great. So I mean, from my side, it shows huge interest to BIM skill. I see what I'm really sure what we will have a great event in Shanghai because you're very professional people, and right now you got really, let's say, initial training, and really, if you did not saw what does it mean, world skills, you right now had a chance to see it. And so right now we can speak very easily to each other. We can understand very easy what's we talking about, what does it mean aspect, what does it mean market scheme, what does it mean test project. So I mean, you right now really very well will understand me, and I will very well understand you. So that's why on my feeling, let's say, I did not yet saw your feedback, and I hope you will provide me more feedbacks. What we have very good level of understanding, and I am right now very positive about Shanghai. So I really right now believe with such good, such professional expert community, we will have a great event there. So I mean, if BIM Academy will be the company who will design the technical test project, that will be very good test project because Albert cover all that information. So that's why I will propose to you what we will stay in touch with you, at least what we had today very good opportunity to start working on the proposal from Brazil. So we will get, I guess, very good suggestion from Jacek and from Leon. If we're talking about the task or approach to task, about possibly improving the technical description of our BIM skills. So that's why I am personally very positive, and I'm very thank all of you what you join our skill camp and you really contribute to that process. So please, right now we have a Q&A session. Please, I guess you could unmute, just unmute the microphone. If you have difficulties in, let's say, in spoken English, please write your question or your suggestion in chat, in Zoom chat. So that's what I right now won't come to the end, but it's free to you to step in. I don't see any hanging unmuted person or any questions. So in that case, I would really slowly close our session. So some of them who did not finish the assessment, please finish it. Please upload all assessment scheme to the folder and the final project of your students. So I mean, that is for somebody who did not do it, that is a homework for the weekend. For tomorrow, again, if you're okay to share some photos from you, how we work during this week, it's okay. If you have some suggestion from your students who could step in and share his or her thoughts, again, reach me out. If you would like, if you're ready, again, to step in for tomorrow to provide some feedback from your side, again, aimed, it will be students and maybe technical delegates. It's again, please let me know. So tomorrow it will be really more, let's say, the closing ceremony. It's more about emotion. It's more about really going ahead. So that's why we will close the SkillCamp, but we as a society, as the community of BIM experts will continue to work. So that is really my maybe words which I would finish at least my today talk.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Alec, for all the effort and time. And we will see the thanks to you from almost everybody. So perhaps let me express that this was a very fruitful time, very important to us, and because we are new, I mean, many of these countries are new, and I'm personally also new to the idea. So it was time to learn, to see, to teach, to seek improvements too. Yes, of course. And yeah, and we're ready to help you.
Thank you.
We're ready to cooperate. It's great. I put on the chat that I think that the most important thing is that we are together. We talk. We form a community, and it's a good starting point. You know, to go all over the world with the idea of BIM skill as a competence that counts. That it's more and more important.
Thank you, Jacek. Thank you. So, okay, in that case, we are closing today's session. So thank you very much. I hope to see you and your students tomorrow on the Zoom call. I think we will try to put everyone in one Zoom call. So last Friday we separated, but I guess not everyone joined. It's okay, and I thought we will all be fitting into the one Zoom room. It will be immediately translation to YouTube. So if someone will not be able to join, so I mean that this will be okay. But I hope Anna will share the Zoom link to us shortly. Okay. See you tomorrow.
See you.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Alexei.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you
Bye
guys.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye,
night.
everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye,
See
everyone.
you.